From the surface, the ocean appears harmless, an almost perfect plain, barely disturbed by the slow movement of the waves. There are no visible signs of danger, no markers to indicate that beneath this tranquil layer, the planet is breaking and sinking deeper than anywhere else. Here, the expedition begins, not with a descent, but with a decision. For centuries, humankind has viewed the ocean as a frontier, a boundary separating the known from the unknown. But the Mariana Trench is not a horizontal boundary. It is a drop. Beneath this exact point in the Pacific, the Earth's crust folds. One plate slides beneath another. The bottom doesn't recede, it plunges. We don't descend out of romantic curiosity, nor out of defiance, nor to conquer. We descend because we need to understand the limits of our own, and because, in science, looking down is also a way of looking inward. Every cable checked, every system tested, every adjustment to the ROV answers the same silent question. Are we prepared to enter a place that doesn't need us? The expedition doesn't begin when the vehicle touches the water. It begins here, with the acceptance that what we are about to see is not meant for us, and that if something goes wrong, the ocean won't stop to explain. The descent begins almost imperceptibly. For the first few meters, the world remains recognizable. The light still exists. The blue still retains depth. But that feeling doesn't last. Every meter down is a surrender. First to color, then to distance. After that, to any reference point that reminds us where we are. Sunlight doesn't vanish abruptly. It fragments, it filters, it stretches out until it disappears completely. And when it's gone, it doesn't return. The ocean doesn't become hostile. It doesn't need to. It simply ceases to acknowledge our presence. The pressure increases steadily, silently, inevitably. It's not felt, it's not heard, but it's there, accumulating around every structure, every bolt, every empty space. The ROV descends with mathematical precision, without haste, without hesitation, as if it knew that down here, every mistake is punished with no room for correction. At this point, up and down cease to exist in human terms, only depth. And the deeper we descend, the clearer something unsettling becomes. The ocean is not an empty space. It is an immense volume, dense, heavy, an environment where the absence of light is not a deficiency, but a permanent condition. The bottom doesn't appear as a smooth surface. It appears as a scar. The Earth here is not stable. It never has been. The walls of the trench are formed of volcanic rock, compressed over millions of years. Fractured basalt, broken plates, rearranged under pressures that would crush any human-made structure. The ROV ventures into natural caverns formed by ancient lava flows and tectonic collapses, spaces not designed to be traversed. They simply exist. Navigation becomes slow, precise, calculated down to the millimeter. Every rock protrusion is a potential threat, every turn an unknown. Here, there's no room for wide maneuvers, no space for quick corrections. Only controlled advance or retreat. The tension doesn't come from movement. It comes from stillness, knowing that a failure won't cause an explosion or drama. Simply silence. The walls bear the marks of a story with no witnesses. Overlapping layers, sealed fractures, minerals compressed until they lose any recognizable form. These caves are not shelters. They are internal scars of the planet. And as the ROV advances, a truth becomes clear. We are not exploring a place. We are traversing a geological process that continues to unfold, even though no one is watching. And yet, there is life. Not exuberant, not abundant, but real. It appears discreetly, almost accidentally. A slight movement at the edge of the light, a pale silhouette clinging to the rock. They are organisms that have never known the surface, that do not depend on the sun, that do not distinguish day from night. Their existence is not a challenge to the environment. It is an absolute adaptation to it. Their bodies are fragile in appearance, translucent, delicate, but they are designed to withstand pressures that would pulverize any human biological structure. They do not fight against the depths. They accept them. Down here, life does not seek to dominate. It seeks to persist. Every movement is slow, economical, measured. There is no wasted energy. There are no unnecessary gestures. Hadal biology is not spectacular. It is efficient. And in that efficiency lies an uncomfortable lesson. Life doesn't need favorable conditions to exist. It just needs enough time to adapt. While the ROV observes, these life forms continue exactly as before. They don't react. They don't hide. They aren't disturbed. Because to them, we are not explorers. We are a passing anomaly, briefly illuminating a world that will still exist when we're gone. This is where the reference ends. There's no comprehensible below, only continuous depth. The ROV reaches one of the deepest points ever visually explored. The pressure is absolute, constant, relentless. Every inch of the vehicle bears invisible tons. Ascending doesn't erase what happened. The ROV slowly descends, traversing layers that no longer seem as hostile as before. Not because they are any less hostile, but because we now better understand their logic. The vehicle returns marked. Each scratch is an interaction, at each adhered residue, a sample. On deck, the analysis begins without celebration, without speeches, only careful observation, detailed, methodical. The pressure left microscopic traces. The sediment tells chemical stories. The sensors preserve data that no human eye could have directly collected. There are no trophies. There is information. And that information doesn't promise control. It promises understanding. The return is not a retreat. It is the natural conclusion of the process. Because exploring doesn't mean staying put. It means learning and returning. The ocean loses nothing when we leave.
Look at the deformation here on the structural plate. Yeah, the alignment is off by a few millimeters.
We, on the other hand, return changed, with a clearer picture of how far we can go and how far we can't. From the surface, everything looks the same again. The ocean stretches out calmly. The horizon is clear. The sky is softly reflected in the water. Nothing hints at what lies beneath. No one observing this scene could imagine the caverns, the pressure, the darkness, the silent life that continues to thrive kilometers below. The trench remains, indifferent. It holds no memory of our visit. It doesn't register our presence. We move away. It remains, because some places are not meant to be conquered, not even fully understood. They are meant to remind us of something essential, that the planet doesn't revolve around us, that there are places where humility is not an option, but a condition, and that sometimes, looking into the deepest place on Earth, teaches us not about the ocean, but about ourselves.